Good morning and welcome to Talking Talent. Today I am delighted to be joined by Kelly Swinney, GM Customer Operations for Ocado's award-winning customer hub in Sunderland. Kelly will be sharing some of her own career journey with us today, but also will be telling us exactly how in only 2.5 years since the hub opened, they have gone on to win Contact Centre of the Year just this summer, which is an amazing feat. And also leapt to position number 7 in the customer satisfaction index from 70 this time last year, which is a huge result. And obviously you are now the leading food retailer on the index, which is fantastic. So Kelly.
Hello.
Hi.
Good morning.
Welcome.
How are you?
You've got your cup of coffee like me.
I have. I've been to Starbucks this morning, Louise, all prepared.
All prepared, fully caffeined up, which is what we all need. For those who don't know, tell us a little bit more about Ocado Retail and its partnership with Marks and Spencer's, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So Ocado joined M&S in 2019. So they started in 2019 on their joint venture. Same time that the customer hub opened here in Sunderland in the northeast. So we are the biggest UK online grocer in the UK, and currently employ circa 400 employees, Louise, at our site here in Sunderland.
Good. Okay. And you joined 18 months ago, is that right?
Yeah, so I joined February 2021. Yeah.
And a lot has happened in that time.
It sure has, yeah.
Okay. And tell me a little about your own career journey, because it's quite interesting, isn't it? Did you start on the phones yourself?
So I think from my career journey, so I was an advisor way back when, in when I started my, I guess, contact centre journey. Prior to joining Ocado, worked in utilities. In prior to joining here, I'd done a completely different role for a couple of years, Louise, before I got back into the operation. So it's been quite a journey over the last few years, shall we say.
And I think unusually your last role before you joined Ocado was out of ops, wasn't it? So you'd taken a step into people experience or people engagement, which back then, sort of 5 years ago, was unusual. So it was quite a leap of faith, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So I joined, when I was there, obviously I went into operation, and for 4 years, I concentrated on the people experience lead. So you're right, absolutely. It was a role that wasn't heard of really in the northeast, and the role was shaped. I was given a really, really good opportunity in my previous organisation to allow me to step out and do something different. And I think if I think back to those, the skills that I learned from that role have absolutely been transferable coming back into the operation. And I guess although that role was, super rewarding, I guess the bit that I missed most was around, work and coaching development in the operation. So I guess I brought that along to Ocado as well.
Yeah, of course. And I was going to ask you that next. How has that time in people experience and sort of more of an engagement role helped you in your GM role now in terms of leadership?
Yeah, so I think, I've always been, as you know, massive on people engagement, but I think it's more the strategy around actually how do we make, an organisation in effect a great place to work and become, an employer of choice. So I've been able to, implement lots of activities that I knew worked well in the previous role that I'd done, and so much so right, we concentrate our engagement scores, and for the last certainly year and a half we've been coming out at over 8s for our engagement score, which is just incredible. So I guess it tells us and cements that we're doing something right. But I guess lessons learned, I also know what we've tried to do and tried to implement that hasn't worked so well. So it's been really, beneficial for certainly me and the teams to understand what a good people engagement strategy looks like.
Of course, yeah. And I'm interested to know from your perspective, when you last worked in operations, so a few years ago now, what has changed, or has it not? Is the role like it was back then, or have you found that the demands of an operational role have changed quite a bit in terms of metrics, people, challenges?
So not really. I guess what I'm really proud of at Ocado, as we drive our customer metrics, right? So I know in other organizations that I've worked, we have drove efficiencies, which is absolutely the right thing to do, because as a business you need to be efficient. But what we've done here at Ocado is actually put the customer metrics at the forefront of everything that we talk about. So it's kind of in our colleagues' DNA. So we talk about NPS, we talk about CSAT, we talk about what our customers telling us each day. So we class those, in effect, our tier 1 metrics, if you like. And it's that culture that we've created that is just the norm for us now.
So it's interesting then that all of the colleagues, regardless of what level they're at in the hub, understand everything that those metrics measure and what the output needs to be. I guess what ultimately the impact is on the customer.
Absolutely, yeah. And we align that, right, with our internal quality framework. So again, that is another measure that we focus on heavily, to say actually our customers are telling us this, and actually from an internal point of view, this is exactly how we're performing as well. So just kind of falls line in line, really.
And previously you worked in a highly regulated industry, didn't you? Are there any similarities to working in a food retail business, or is it really different?
So it's really different. So we're not regulated, right? So I guess the way I always describe this is that we have got more freedom in our framework here. So although it is about delivering a first-class customer service, we empower our frontline colleagues to actually do what's best. So they aren't scripted, we're not regulated, so we don't have to follow suit, if you like. And I guess that's a real positive for us, because we can just shape exactly how we want our customer conversations to go.
Okay, and how do you do that then? I think you've mentioned to me before that you have a customer advocate, and that person is the voice of the customer internally, is that right?
So this is a new role for us, and we were all the senior leadership team were really keen to get this in our structure. So our customer advocate lead is our voice of the customer, if you like. So any processes, any internal initiatives that we want to land, that role is designed in effect to help my operational teams to ensure we're doing what we need to do, but also be the voice at the customer side. And we find that through any tea and talk forum, any of our issues and resolutions through huddles, they all get fed into that role to actually look at from a bigger piece point of view what needs to change, or what we need to maybe change from an internal perspective as well. So it's really key and an important role for us, and it's definitely working well.
And did that person, was that an internal promotion? Did you recruit externally? Great.
It was it was an internal promotion, and the great thing about this is the person in that role was heavily operational as well, so she absolutely gets from an operations side as well as a customer side as well. So it's a great
development opportunity, and a good story to tell, isn't it, as well?
Absolutely,
okay. And we talked the other day, and you were talking about this model office concept, which was fascinating to me because I've not heard of that before in an existing operation. So tell me a little bit about that and how you sort of roll out new initiatives.
So our model office, so this is kind of a way we work now, Louise. So any new initiative, any new process that we want to test and learn within the hub is tested within a set group of teams. We measure this every 12 weeks. So for instance, if it was a new customer element of our quality model, we'll test and learn it in approximately 6 teams. We'll prove the concept as to whether it works, and then the decision as to whether we roll it out across the wider teams. I guess this allows us, right, to not just go ahead and, you know, introduce something new without really understanding on whether it is going to work or not.
Okay.
The guys are bought in, so all of the teams are involved in Model Office. We meet every week. We talk about where we're at on our projects, and then it's refreshed every 12 weeks.
I have to apologise. There's some work going on in the office that I'm in, so if you can hear that, that's what it is.
All right. I wasn't going to mention that, Louise. I was being super professional there.
It's annoying me now, so I had to mention it and get it out there.
So yeah, so this is just a initiative that works really, really well, and it just allows for all of the teams in the hub to, you know, to bring new ideas, right? So it's that idea generation bit around actually what is going to, you know, turn that dial on, whether that's colleague or whether it's customer.
Okay, and so give me an example of something that's really worked using that concept.
I guess back to the early days. So when I arrived at Ocado, we didn't have a structured framework in regards to our daily performance huddles.
Okay.
So these were introduced within Model Office, again, just to prove the concept as to, you know, the value that they would bring to the teams. So that was when we first introduced Model Office. We ran the test for 12 weeks, and then at the end of it, we realized that actually performance was increasing, engagement, we see an uplift in engagement from a communication point of view. That was, you know, that absolutely increased as well. And I think with the huddles, what we're really proud of is that even, you know, dependent on our service levels, so if, you know, we have a really challenging day, we will never remove a huddle from a colleague. They will 100% go ahead, and those happen at every level. And those are three times a week, and it gives a chance for everybody, you know, to talk about where we're at and what we're focusing on.
Okay, and has anything just simply not worked? I know you trial and error things, but what have you learned from doing the Model Office?
Yeah, I mean, you know, there has been a couple of things that we've thought actually maybe that isn't one that we want to try now, and that is, you know, like we've thought about ideas about introducing some dedicated teams within the hub, and you know, we've tried for a number of weeks and actually discussed as a team and said that, you know, that's just not what that it's just not going to work. So there has been, you know, I'm not going to say everything has been great and rosy. There's definitely been things that, you know, that haven't come to fruition, I guess, as to what we thought, but that's what Model Office is there for, right?
That's it. And I guess some things just might not be right for the here and now, it might just be parked for further down the line.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So I guess just sort of slowly starting to wrap up, what's next for you and your teams? What's coming down the tracks? So there's always stuff going on at Ocado, so I'm excited to know.
There's always something going on every week. So I guess one good thing is that we now have an engagement and diversity lead within the hub. So we've introduced that role in, so we've got our engagement plan for the next 12 months, which is super exciting, and a little bit crazy, as you know. I guess the pressure's on, right, is how do we top this year? So we've had an incredible year this year, you know, winning the award, but I guess it's just, you know, ramping up. We've got more recruitment happening next month. We're getting, you know, we're growing bigger, and I guess what we want to be known for that's really important in the Northeast is, I guess, you know, conversations that we have is it's kind of the myths of working in a call centre. There's, you know, fantastic opportunities here in the Northeast. We've got a great career pathway now introduced here at Ocado. And I guess for us, we just want to, you know, become more attractive in Sunderland and become a great employer of choice, I guess.
Great. Excellent. And I know on a personal level, you're off on holiday, a well-deserved holiday to the sun.
Yes, I am. I am going to chill out. I have promised not to look at emails. Certainly for the next 7 days. I know, as you frown. But yes, so I'm off on holiday. Coming back all refreshed and just
all refreshed.
Looking forward to Christmas, right? Because Christmas in retail is going to be madness. So
crazy.
Yeah. So looking forward to a second Christmas.
I suspect people are already booking their Christmas delivery slots, are they?
Yeah, so our slot, well, you know, you laugh, but our slots open next month, so people will,
wow.
Yeah. So we've got a big Christmas launch happening here at the Hub as we open our web shop up. So yeah, so
it's terrifying, isn't it?
It is. So before we know, so you need to get on and order your Christmas shopping, Louise.
Clearly I do. Kelly, it's been lovely to talk to you. Enjoy the sunny holiday.
I will. Thank you so much.
I'm going to go and have a word with the builder upstairs. But anyway, he wasn't to know. And I shall speak to you very soon.
Lovely to talk to you, Louise. Take
care.
Bye.